I'm going to do a fresh face day look that's perfect for this time of year. My model today is my good friend, the very beautiful and extremely lovely Sophie Dahl. I first met Sophie many years ago when I did her makeup for a Vogue shoot, and we've been friends ever since. Sophie has 2 children under the age of 3, so today's look is all about giving your face that super wide awake glow. A fresh, well-slept beauty makeup that's easy to achieve. So Sophie, I know you're feeling exhausted, but I think you're looking already gorgeous, I have to say. But
I think you're generous.
No, I'm really not. I'm not. I'm going to suggest that we start with this, which is the new Bourjois CC cream. And I've been using this on myself every day, and I think it's just brilliant.
What does it do?
Well, it's kind of a tinted moisturiser. They all have these names, you know, BBC, a CC cream, BB cream.
So it's a CC, a colour
corrector. Essentially, they're sort of tinted moisturisers with bells on. So they have skincare ingredients, and they have a little bit more coverage than the traditional tinted moisturisers. This one you can put on with your fingers. It's very, very easy to use, or you can do, as I'm doing now, with a brush. It doesn't really matter. And it just looks completely natural on the skin. So if you've had a bit of a rough night and you're feeling a little bit red in the cheeks or dark under the eyes or just generally tired, it just has those really nice sort of colour balancing and slightly light reflective particles that will just even out your skin. And just use it really wherever you want. Just sort of blend it in, almost as if it's like a moisturiser, really.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why a brush over fingers?
Well, if it was me doing it on myself, actually with this product, I would use fingers. Mm-hmm. But because you're sort of a client, I am being professional and using a brush. But, I mean, I do often use fingers as well, but I think sometimes it's quite nice to... you're having the full treatment today.
Nice.
Okay, so that's base on. So on to concealer. And you've had very little sleep, I know, for the last... What is it?
3 years.
3 years. So we need some concealer.
A lot of concealer.
I'm going to use this is probably my favourite under eye concealer. So this is a light reflective pen. You can mix this, however, if it's not enough. If you put that on and you find it's enough, it's fine. But if you want a little bit more coverage, then what I really like to do is mix this with either something like a Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage, which is has a lot more coverage, or something like a Dermablend, which is great by Vichy. But you really only need a tiny, tiny amount of something like this because it is quite concentrated. And then just using a brush, mix it in with your light reflective and then just dab on. Again, you can use fingers, although I think it's really much easier just to use a little buffing brush like this.
And how do you stop it getting stuck in the creases?
In the creases.
Yeah.
You don't want to use a lot. I think most people that I see use way too much under their eyes, and I think the main thing is you just want to put it where you're dark. So rather than sort of put this huge amount
Sweep
on all the way
right
across, pat it in mainly to the inner corner or wherever it is you're dark. So we're just buffing really just into your inner corners and just keeping it thin. And if you feel like you've put too much on, you know, use fingers, pat in, just really think about making that almost as thin as you can get away with, but at the same time you want to cover the darkness. Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's good to use one of the more opaque products, because you can use the tiniest amount, and when you mix it with the light reflective, it looks like nothing under the eyes, but it's so densely pigmented that it really does lift the colour there.
I think also it changes as you get older and you have to realise that your skin has changed, because
absolutely
you
can't get away with putting on too much underneath the eyes. It really shows. And also the colour, you know, if something's too light and you end up looking really white under the eyes, I think it looks worse than almost dark shadows.
Yeah.
So you're better off with something that's got a little bit of colour in, a little bit of warmth that will lift any blue or purpleness around there, and just sort of even it out. So I'm going to use the concentrated one again, so either Vichy or the this is just a great product to have in your handbag, something like this, which is just perfect for touch up. So if you have any redness in your cheeks or any little patches of redness around your nose, you can just, you know, touch up. And if you did have any spots, you haven't got any, my dear, but if you did, you could also use this to, you know, cover a little spot. Okay, so now we're going to add some colour into the face, and this is the RMS cream blush. Well, it's also for lips as well, called Demure, which I think is a nice name for you. So you're just going to apply this onto the cheeks, and then using the brush that I use with the CC cream, and blend all of those edges in. So this is something that's really easy to use. You like cream blushes, don't you?
Love cream blush, yeah.
Just looks so healthy, and I think if you haven't been sleeping, it's the quickest way to look alive. It kind of is great because it sort of whitens the whites of your eyes and just brings all that life back into your face.
Apples back into your cheeks.
Yes, exactly.
Without looking like Aunt Sally.
Yeah, we don't look like Aunt Sally. So although we're starting sort of around the apple of the cheeks, we're really blending those edges all around. So you can sort of, almost as if you're blushing from within. And the thing is, you can always add more, but it's hard to take it down if you put too much on.
Yes.
So better to put a tiny amount on, finish all of your makeup, and then if you need to, you can always add a little bit more at the end. And then to complement that, I'm going to use the Girl Meets Pearl, which is the highlighter from Benefit. And this is a nice, slightly warm, pinky gold highlighter, which is very, very sheer. And this should just be patted onto the top of the cheeks. And it's got really lovely, dewy texture. And because it's not too glittery or too obviously highlightery, it's not going to emphasize any fine lines or make your skin look kind of overly done for the day.
Do you ever mix that in with foundation?
Yes, I do, although I don't really like it to be all over the face so much. I like to kind of pick out the areas like the centre of the nose a little bit, top lip, you know, onto the cheeks, even onto the blusher. Sometimes I'll go over blusher with it, but I find sometimes if you put it with your foundation and you end up kind of pearly all over, it's a little bit much. I think it can...
Dates me. I'm slightly obsessed by that J-Lo circa 99,
full frost
2000.
all over.
Yeah. Love a bit of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it can look amazing, and I think maybe for a night out, but since we're doing a kind of very natural day look, a demure day look on you. So I'm going back in with a little bit more of the blusher here as well, and just really working it in. I think the whole point of this makeup is that it needs to be easy and quick, but we want all of these layers to be in synergy with your skin. So the foundation, the highlighter, the blusher, everything to really feel like it's you, it's part of you.
And it's meant to be there.
And it's meant to be there. Yeah. And this is you naturally. This is how you've woken up this morning and you just happen to look fabulous and fresh.
Fell out of my bed.
You fell out of your bed and you're going to your meeting with a full glow on, even though you haven't slept for 3 years.
The myth. The myth of makeup.
The myth of makeup, I know. So onto eyes, and I thought I would use the Illusion d'Ombre Emerveille by Chanel. Simply because firstly it's a beautiful colour.
Lovely colour.
And so easy to use again. Very, very effective. You can use fingers. I know I'm using a brush, but it's just as easy if you're doing this yourself. And you don't
because I'm getting your special treatment.
You're getting my special treatment, exactly. All over the lid. And that's it. That does not take long. And it really just evens out the colour of the skin on your lid and just puts a little bit of light into the area, which we all need and we all like. Look up for me, honey. You can put a little bit in the corner if you want to just have a little bit more shimmer going on there, which is really nice at this time of year. And again, because it's not too white, it's very peachy and it suits, I find it suits pretty much all skin tones. So
and looks natural during the day.
Just looks natural. I mean, it gives you a little shimmer, which is not 100% natural, but it's just enough that you can get away with it. It just looks pretty, you know.
Yeah.
I'm also going to add some liner. This is the Maybelline Lasting Gel Liner, and this is brown. And this is just great for pushing into the lash roots. Really opens up the eye. You don't need to be good at drawing a line or anything like that. It's not too technical.
I've used this. I bought this in a chemist
Did you?
in the States, and wore it to a funeral, and it lasted.
The black one, was it?
It lasted very, very well.
No, it really does. It really lasts. I think this is as good as any of the expensive ones.
Yeah.
And the colours are great. Then you can see when that's finished, it's not makeup exactly, but it just really enhances the eye. And I think it just gives a really wide awake, framed look. And then of course, eyelash curlers. Where would we be without eyelash curlers? If you haven't slept, they are essential.
Miracle worker.
So next is going to be mascara. I'm going to use this Double Protection Mascara, which is by DHC. And this is a nice little mini brush. Japanese brush, which I really like. And also underneath. And this is a really long-lasting mascara, so you're not going to end up with panda eyes, which is always good. Just going to give them a little brush through. I'm going to go back in with the gel. Look up for me, Sophie. This is the brown gel that I used on top, and what's left on the brush. It's going to work into the lower lashes a little bit, just at the roots. About half the way across, just to define a little bit more there. For your brows, I thought I'd just use this Speed Brow Gel, which is just so easy. It's slightly tinted, so it'll add a little bit of colour, but without the hassle of using...
So it's like, is it like one of those mascara?
Yeah, just like a
mascara
mascara one.
Love
But
those.
it's got a really nice amount of colour. It's not too dark, but you still kind of see how it defines them. And it's really, really easy. I mean, you've got good brows, so for anyone that doesn't have such good brows, then a little bit of pencil just into any gaps that you have before you use this will do the trick. For lips, I'm going to use this Clinique Chubby Stick, simply because it's so easy to use, and you must take this with you today for any touch-ups you need to do.
Nice.
And it's just really nice and balmy, so it feels really soothing and moisturising, and it adds a really pretty tint of colour, and I think this is a really lovely colour for spring. It's a kind of warm rose. Just rub your lips together for me. And if you want to, because it's a pencil, you can also do a little bit of making them look a bit fuller if you wanted to, or adding more of a defined edge if you wanted to, or just do it very naturally like that. So I know you've got about 3 minutes before you have to jump into your car and go to your meeting, so I think you are done. Have a look, Soph.
I love my Disney me.
Your Disney me. Yes, it's the kind of Disney version of you waking up in the morning with a little bird
Springing
coming
out
in
of bed.
to lift off the quilt.
The
yeah.
violins playing.
Yes, no, it looks really,
Thank
really
you
pretty.
so much.
Very
and
glowy.
it was really quick. We were chatting away.
Yeah,
So
we
it
were
might have seemed
chatting
longer,
away.
But I think it was quick and easy.
If you do that yourself, then it's going to be very, very easy to do, and you look really lovely.